Studying my way to 1700 ELO in chess was actually pretty chaotic, I'm gonna be honest, because even when I had a chess coach, I did not really know what topics am I actually supposed to study when I'm like alone trying to study. Is it openings that I'm supposed to study? Is it tactics? Is it positional understanding? And short pick, yes, it is positional understanding. And so I'm going to show you this soon and what worked and helped for me. But just a second before that, let me show you my own stats. Okay, this is still my own stats and results. I've leveled up from approximately 700 to 1400 in the span of like 2 months, 3 months. This video is very much action step. You're gonna do what I'm doing, okay, with me. Okay, so you're basically going to actively copy me whilst watching this video. And also consider leaving a sub for the next time you go onto your desk and watch chess content like this. And so let's start immediately. What I want you to do is open a chess game that you have played. You can move this thing around, okay? Basically like a game that you have played related to chess. And also I would like you to open a Word document, or really just anywhere that you can write something on, okay? Because we're going to do some writing in this video. Because now what we're going to basically do is analyze a game, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to do this, so you could literally copy what I'm doing to your own situation. And after we do the analysis on just one game, okay, like what you consider like your average game, this is what we're going to focus on, okay? Once we finish this, we will have basically data, all the data that we need in order to understand, okay, we need to focus on X, Y, Z, okay? And also to make not just a study plan, but the routine for later on studying the game. So let's start. So in here, let's say that I'm doing this as white, okay? Let's actually see how the game goes on. E4, C5, knight F3, T6, okay, very regular stuff, okay? Knight to C3, okay? The game just continues on, okay? They trade pawns, okay? And switch stuff, yeah, okay. A6, okay, they continue. Queen to D3, you can see immediately the bar goes in black's favor. And why is that? With that simply allows the black knight to capture the pawn, okay? Now you're in a pawn advantage, okay? And so what we want is, of course, to move the queen here, okay? That's why the computer says like move here. Now you can't really take, okay, because of course like the knight is pinned, but if you try to kick it with, let's say for an example, this pawn, you can't really do this. The pawn really doesn't really support this pawn because it's pinned basically to the rook, okay? So you can actually take here with the bishop, okay? The computer considers b5 to be a blunder, okay, because you can just take here. But okay, it's just like the start of the game. So let's move back, okay, to the move that white actually did, which is queen to d3. Okay, and now we understand why is this a mistake, and we're gonna be mindful of this, okay? So queen d3, knight takes, okay? D takes c5. Black sort of like gave up castling rights, okay? Queen to d8, okay, the king takes. And so you see a very relatively regular game. Bishop to g5, e6, knight to e4 happens. We realize like slowly but surely that the game goes in black's favor. And why knight to e4 is a mistake. Okay, if you can see like 0.3, okay, you can see slowly it goes into black's favor. Knight to e4 is a mistake because now I can go with something like bishop to e7. Your sort of like pin in a sense on this knight doesn't actually do something, okay? So if I'm moving here, for example, I'm pretty much fine as black. And okay, we continue like this, okay, and we continue to see that white makes such errors. Yeah, a pretty good move, okay? And the more we continue, we see that this is what happens. And just to like show this thing, okay, if we pull up the computer analysis, okay, it shows pretty much the same thing, okay? It goes slowly, surely into black's favor, okay? And this is something that we need to mind of, okay? Because this isn't like a mover, okay, which helped black to win. That basically tells us like that the issue that black has is not like an immediate blunder, okay, rather it's like you, let me just show you, okay, you can see like these are one movers. Let me just pull this up. And so now looking at these problems, we can pretty much say, okay, these issues, they're not immediate, okay, but they are relatively positional errors, okay, that white makes, okay. If you're looking here, it's quite a mistake to do this. It's not an immediate blunder, okay, but it is a minor mistake, okay. After this, putting the knight here, okay, and then taking with the bishop, okay, these are small mistakes. And so we can write on the paper, okay, right below me, we can write something like positional mistakes. Let me just of course decrease the size. Yes, this standing one, okay, and that is basically like the reason that he have lost this game, okay. He had some misunderstanding, okay, of the positions that he was in comparison to white. Let's say for a moment that we're returning to this moment, okay, and we're playing as black, and now white does this move, okay, and it does basically the best move, okay, and now we do a move like this, which is considered a blunder. We're going to the analysis, okay, and instead of positional misunderstanding, we're just going to write blunder. We're understanding now why you've lost a specific game, okay, and again, the average game. You don't want a game that went super well and not a game that went super badly. And you can be very independent with this, okay, so it doesn't need to just write blunders. It could write, for the same example, for example, blunder and tactics, okay, blunder and openings, okay. It could write really a lot of things, okay, but really just ask yourself, okay, why you've lost a specific game, and due to this, just write it down, okay. And so let's return to positional misunderstanding, okay, right here. Positional we know now why we have lost, okay. Now we know what we need to actually study, okay. So now we're going to the second part of this video, which is creating the study plan. We will also create later on a study routine. You will know what to practice on and how to practice it well. And so let me just increase this in size. And we wrote positional misunderstanding, okay. Let's say for a moment that we've done this like for, let's say, 3 games, and you wrote positional misunderstanding 2, tactics 1, okay, and openings. In openings, you've noticed that this is the main reason that you've lost in most of these things, which is very common to happen. You're gonna write there 3, okay, 1, okay, something like this. Let's say you've had a result which is like that for multiple games that you've analyzed. Now, let's create a study plan. So first of all, what we can do is study our openings. We know that we need to consist the study plan of actually studying openings. This is studying openings for the short term. So let's say for the next 2 months. This is part of what we're going to do. And by the way, for openings, do not study more than 2 openings, okay? You don't really want to overcomplicate this. This is why I've asked some of you like how many openings you study, okay? Turns out there's a lot of you that are studying too many openings. Okay, like of course you can know the names of multiple openings, but the openings that you really study in order to actually get better in the game, you wanna minimize it all the way down to 2, because more openings than this, you're going more to waste time on this, okay? Rather than just, you're basically going to get average on 3-4 openings, in contradiction to being very, very good at 2 openings, which is why studying just 2 openings is a lot better. Okay, but yeah, we know now, okay, we need to study openings, tactics, aka doing the puzzles. This is the second thing. Here we are creating the study plan. For openings, we set the exercise, which is to study openings. Again, studying 2 openings, not more. For tactics, we set puzzles. We have said to implement all of these via playing versus online people. For positional understanding, and so let's set for an example for positional understanding, okay, the third a third thing that we need to do, and you can play with this, okay, and see like which study plan you like the most and which routine later on you would like the most. You can actually do multiple things for a positional misunderstanding. If you're right now an intermediate, this is actually, I think, what is holding you back. So let's say 3 and 4. Okay, so the 4 things, then this. Watching a positional understanding video. We can practice the positional understanding a lot versus online people. Okay, just the more that we practice these things, you're naturally going to get better. Okay, and so actually let's keep it at 4. Now we basically have a plan for what we actually need to study on. Okay, the 4 things that we need to do. Now we can do a routine. Okay, so now we can actually systemize this thing into an actual, how do we actually practice this. Okay, so let's first of all like set the times that we're actually going to study this. Okay, and so for example, I'll do this on myself. Nothing really constrains you in this. Like obviously, if you have a job or college or school, then of course this is something we need to be mindful of. But nothing really stops you from doing this study routine. For example, I love training in the mornings. These days, I already work on this YouTube channel, and so I'll set this instead for the evenings. Okay, and let's say 6 to 7:30. Evenings every single day. Of course, you don't need to do this every single day. You can write like Sunday to Tuesday, just like having this paper sheet, okay, where you're writing like, okay, what I'm going to do in X, Y, Z times, okay. That makes your mind a lot more clearer because you're not constantly thinking, you're not always thinking like, okay, what should I do next? Okay, this is why we're doing this. Okay, but let's say for example that we have evening. Now we can basically implement all of this. Let's say for example for the openings, study openings. Okay, and now what you can do if you want to like customize it for your liking. Okay, let's say for example you studied the Queen's Gambit, okay, and the Caro-Kann. We can basically like separate this is first of all, so study openings, okay, and we can do this, we can do later on a Sunday. This is really for your liking, just like setting this up. Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, Queen's Gambit. Then in, let's say, the other days you're doing instead, other days, you're doing the Caro-Kann, okay? And just go down. Now it really comes to systemizing this routine. Try to set this for the time that you feel the most focused in, because obviously then the results from this routine will be a lot better. A lot of you said that you love like practicing in the morning and in the evenings. It was like a 50-50 split, okay? Not that much people said they like in the noons, okay? But you can set this, for an example, then for the evenings, if you like studying in the evenings. If not, then the mornings, of course. And now, again, based on the study plan, which is based on the analysis that we need to practice on tactics, okay? So basically, like doing puzzles. First of all, watch, okay? 2 to 3 positional understanding videos. Okay, we can do this first, and then after this, what we can do is the puzzles. And so it's gonna be like, it's not going to just practice you on tactics, going to, well, be sort of like a warm-up for actually playing versus people. For the puzzles, what I will say is set a very, very specific amount of puzzles that you're planning to do. For example, you do 10. You're gonna do 10 today, 10 tomorrow, 10 the other day. You're never going to do something like 12, okay, or 13 or anything above this, just 10, okay? Whether you win or you lose, just a very, very specific amount, okay? Because we don't want to take too much time also from something else. So just 10, okay? It could be, of course, like 15, okay? It could be 20, it could be 2000, okay? But still like a very, very specific amount. Okay, so let's get back to 10. The fourth thing, okay, which is to actually implement this. Okay, so play versus online people create sort of like a sequence of questions that you're asking in your mind. And why is this? That's going to just make the games a lot easier for you. Practice positional understanding. That is, well, basically how I like set my own study routines, okay? And how I analyze them and set also what should I study on. So the action steps that I have for you are actually quite simple. Do the analysis, okay? The second thing is do the study plan and then just create the study routine. So if you want to study more like this, then you can consider clicking on the subscribe button. Basically, when you're going to sit down in your desk and watch chess content, okay? One, and if you would really like, then it can really increase your chess elo, okay? And that is the first link in the description, and I will see you the next time. Bye. Bye-bye.